Hello, this is First Fire Non-Assault Move. Welcome back to the 32nd video in the War in the East series. Let's get a situation report. And I want to capture this on camera to get a quick look at what is shaping up to be a significant encirclement for the Germans. That tentative plan we had to attack from the north and reach the east bank of the Dnieper, right around Petrovsk, and we are almost at the point of accomplishing that. So let's zoom in and see what's going on. So let's frame this operation from a couple weeks ago. We remember that the Soviets were on the east bank of the Sula, this bend along the Sula, all the way down on the east bank of the Dnieper to Petrovsk, and the battle has been raging between Kirovograd and Kirovorog. And about 2 weeks ago, we achieved, let's go back so we can see a little better, we achieved a breakthrough, and we did too good of a job just south of Sumy, getting on the east bank of the Sula here, getting a bridgehead, and that spooked the Soviets. I think that was 2 turns ago. And they did a fantastic job to retreat, abandoning the Sula, getting across to Pesel, and assembling around Poltava. And that was kind of a missed opportunity. Had we not threatened so significantly to the north here, I think the Soviets would have remained in place and made what we are trying to accomplish now much easier. If we remember, we had 4 Panzer Corps operating along with several infantry corps that we extracted from the main axis of advance in Army Group Center's area of operations about a month ago or so. Now, after encircling the Soviets in and around, where was it, Sumy, right around this sector, we shifted our axis of advance with all those attacking infantry corps and panzer corps to attack south and east to get that bridgehead just north of the Sula, where the river ended, right around here. This is about halfway through the moves and attacks for this offensive and what we are trying to accomplish. We've established our defenses on the north flank of this axis of advance, and we've moved about, I'd say, 2/3 of our panzer divisions at this point. We still have uncommitted about half a dozen infantry divisions, and we're going to figure out where to position them, either to contribute to the inner wing of this axis of advance or the northern to defend against any Soviet attacks from the north or south. The attacks from the south would be actually the forces that we're trying to encircle in the pocket. Looking a little south, we moved in, what was it, the 36th Panzer Corps a turn or two ago, and now they have contributed to a bridgehead over the Ingulets with the assistance of the 3rd Panzer Corps and the infantry divisions that we had supporting that attack. So we got a bridgehead over here. Ooh, this very audacious 25th Motorized Division has a few choices to make to either establish a perimeter to keep the Soviets out from attacking from the south, or from the Soviets attacking from Petrovsk sector. I imagine there's more Soviet formations here than just these 3 unknowns. We don't expect any pressure from the Soviets attacking over the Dnieper. The plan might be to cross the Dnieper and get on the east bank and actually establish contact with this northern axis of advance. So we still have 1, 2, 3 uncommitted panzer divisions and a motorized division to attack over the Ingulets and either to maybe play it safe and get a strong corridor here threatening Petrovsk, or maybe go all in, cross over the Dnieper, and link up with the yet uncommitted panzer divisions that we have uh, still within those 4 Panzer Corps that are operating now in this axis of advance. Also to consider, we had the uncommitted 24th Panzer Corps that we were going to rail down right where we put the 36th Panzer Corps, where they are attacking now with 3rd Panzer Corps, to give Army Group South finally 3 strong Panzer Corps to position them for 1943. Well, there's opportunity here, and I think I'm going all in. So I have already committed one of the panzer divisions to assist to push the Soviets a little bit to the west to provide more freedom of maneuver for the yet uncommitted panzer divisions that we're going to push down. And I'm thinking right now to reach almost the east bank of the Dnieper. That and only allow probably a 20-mile gap for the Soviets to get away. The farther we stretch south, the less strength we have to resist the Soviets, who have some strong formations in here, to attack east to break out. We made some very persistent attacks to get the Soviets to the south of the Ural. So now any attacks to threaten this axis of advance in our attempt to encircle, now the Soviets have to attack over the Ural, so that's going to make it much harder for them to threaten us. So that was very important. You can just see all the attacks that have taken place thus far to get us into the position where we're at now. Considerations are, what threat do the Soviets pose to the north, just south of Sumy, where they had rushed forces in where they thought we were going to break out, to the north of Sumy, where we had that encirclement. We have strong German divisions here positioned, but now as we stretch along the northern flank of this axis of advance, we are extending our front, so we have to fill in the gaps because the Soviets do have decent combat power here. I don't think enough combat power to break through and cut off the bulk of our attacking forces. Probably local attacks and force some of our weaker positioned forces to retreat, and that's okay because by the next turn our exhausted infantry will be able to realign and completely eliminate all threat of the Soviets breaking out or attacking from the north. I wanted to capture a couple of these very important moves on camera just to see the considerations that go into all this. And this has taken a while. Really needed to maximize every movement factor and think very carefully about where we are going to position our forces. Because there's 3 factors to consider. The attacks from the outside of this forming pocket, the attacks from the inside of the pocket, and how to continue advancing and forming the pocket. So right now, our panzer divisions and our mechanized divisions are the ones that we have moved. We've extended every last ounce of fuel to get them where they are. We still have not done any airdrops, so these fuel percentages are going to go up a little bit to make them a little stronger if they do get attacked by the Soviets, trying to stop what is happening to them right now. Will we be able to actually link up? There is a significant Soviet force to the south that's attacking here. That's not attacking, but going back and forth with 11th Army and previously the 3rd Panzer Corps. So we want to put as much pressure on the Soviets this turn, attack them wherever we can to pin them, fix them so that they can't attack north and mass up and threaten this very slender corridor that we have now. We don't have any infantry to throw into the breach to strengthen the corridor to the north of the south. We only have these 3 divisions of 36 Panzer Corps to widen and exploit whatever we can here. So it'll be a slender gray thread crossing over the Dnieper just to link up. And the Soviets have unidentified forces here, and we look, and there are definitely strong forces building up around this major city. It would take them some movement factors to get over the Dnieper for the tank forces here, and also they would have to travel about 1, 2, 3, 4, about 50 miles and then get into place to attack. So we'd only look at maybe a couple hexes where they would be able to do deliberate attacks to threaten any breakout that we have forming here. However, strong Soviet forces here that could maneuver around, just break contact, and then attack north and cause maybe some serious trouble for us. That's why we want to fix and pin as much as we can of the Soviet forces here. Really, we're looking at tank corps or rifle corps, some unidentified. Well, we do have another guards rifle corps and another tank corps that has been identified. So for these forces really wouldn't be able to do anything offensively because they would have to break contact, which takes movement factors, cross over the Ingulets, and then move north to attack. So as we analyze this, the threat is there, but it's not a grievous threat. So we could go all in and try and cross the Dnieper. So who do we move next? We can extract the 2nd Panzer Division, which made an attack. We pulled 2 of the actually, yeah, I'll correct myself. We now are all in. We are all in with the 24th Panzer Corps because these 2. Where are you? Oh yeah, we had the 2nd Panzer Division and the 4th Panzer Division from 25th Panzer Corps that came down here, made an attack just to widen the corridor for us to allow freedom of maneuver for the attacking remaining panzer divisions that we have, a little more freedom of maneuver to reach as far south as we can in a protected way. So let's see where the 6th Panzer Division could actually reach. More than likely, they will not conduct any attacks. They are now just forming a perimeter. So considerations are, Soviets are strong here. If we leave a gap and we're not completely, do not have a completely contiguous front, I don't think they have the movement factors to push through our zone of control to get potentially a 1, 2, 3, 4, even 5 hex attack on an extended panzer division. What would that look like? If we put the 6th Panzer Division here, then those Soviets to the forces to the north can easily move into this hex, this hex, this hex, and this hex, and get a 4 attack from 4 hexes to get some overwhelming odds against a single Panzer Division that is going to be a little low on fuel with only 12 movement factors left. We can strengthen that Panzer Division by actually putting another Panzer Division here and having 2 there. I think it'd be safe to put a Panzer Division here, but if we had one there, there's no threat right now. All they have is a severely mauled AT artillery brigade, some roughed up Cavalry Corps, another artillery brigade, AT artillery brigade, and a couple more corps that we have really given them a rough ride as we attacked south and pushed them over the Ural. I think it would be wise to pin the Soviets here so that at best they could attack from here, and here, and then place another Panzer Division here and potentially here. And if we attack over the Dnieper to the north, from south to north, we could link up. So let's do that first. So what are we facing off against? 2 tank corps and a cavalry corps with 33% fuel remaining. Considerations. Can we move 5th Panzer, which will eventually become the 5th Panzer Division? Right now, Viking SS Motorized Division. Oh, look at that. Very good. Unfortunately, the infantry has marched its tail off to get some of these infantry divisions were way up here, and they have crossed 2 rivers to support the attacking panzer divisions to protect their flanks. Looks a little slender right now with these panzer divisions here. The threat more Soviet forces to the east. No Soviet threat from the south and east on the south bank of the Ural. So we're looking good here with the 24th Panzer, just taking up positions on the north bank of the Ural to prevent any shenanigans that the Soviets may attempt coming from Dnipropetrovsk. All right, as we look through here, I believe we can take the 2nd Panzer Division. We now have the 197th to relieve them in place. What kind of moves can they achieve? We'll be able to establish a little bit of a corridor here, 20-mile corridor, again protecting from the south. And what was the threat look like? The Soviets could move in here and attack against. They would only be able to attack on the frontage of 1 hex here. I like the idea. I don't think I want to put the 2nd Panzer here. What will they achieve here that the 24th is not already achieving? Think this through. All right, let's go back to that. Let's look at flank security. Strong forces here. Now we're starting to move in where we are relying. Let's get this Hungarian headquarters out of the line so that we can get like a visual picture of what we have stacked up. So that looks pretty. Doesn't look very threatening to the Soviets. Just a Hungarian mountain brigade. Yeah. However, if the Soviets want to attack here, that really doesn't threaten anything because we can just always react to that and prevent any kind of threat here. More than likely, the Soviets are going to look to attack in this stretch of the flank that's forming up. Right now, we only have 2 Hungarian divisions holding really the weak spot. The weak spot where the Soviets could have the tanks and the infantry to move down and attack on a frontage, a 2 hex frontage. This way, this time we have some rivers benefiting us because now the Soviets, if they try to mass up, the Soviets attacking from any place from across the river is going to reduce their combat power and have more favorable combat resolutions for us. So what we definitely want to do, though, is strengthen this position with a German formation. We still have the 25th Panzer Corps, correction, Infantry Corps, that has been contributing to flank security. We actually have one there, one division of the Corps there, one division here. Yeah, I think their tasking is to provide security. Do they need to go anywhere further south? I don't think so. Let's move them there. Then we'll feel a lot safer with this right now along the northern flank. So now we still have two uncommitted infantry corps. Where to push them? The thought might be for the Soviets to break out to the north. However, that would definitely favor us because my concern is any attacks along this where our axis of advance is being established. It might be wise to place a infantry division, a German infantry division here, just to bolster any thought. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, it might be good to bait them rather than having these two Soviet tank corps try to retreat out and make attacks against us. Maybe bait them to attack north. So now what to do with, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Really now what we're working with is 4 uncommitted German infantry divisions to support however they can this axis of advance. Also, we still have 1 Hungarian light division to bolster the front. Maybe just make it a little more secure here at the very origins of the axis of advance. Or, yeah, maybe baiting the Soviets even more. Let's put them right there. I like that. So we have some contiguous hexes forming the inner ring of our axis of advance. We now have the sole remaining Panzer Division from 24th Panzer Corps to commit. We can see the incredible range that these Panzer Divisions have, still with decent combat power, I mean movement factors left, covering that distance. But oh man, all our Panzer Divisions are going to be extremely low on fuel, and we have surpassed our railheads, so we're not going to get as resupplied as well as we have in the preceding weeks. However, we're going all in. This has to happen, and it's definitely worth it. Wow, we could actually reach there, but that would be a little brazen. Let me think about this, and I'll be right back because we still have closer Panzer divisions from the 4 Panzer Corps that were committed to this frontage, and we are going to see what forces are available to maximize every ounce of fuel and bit of combat power. Alright, I just moved down the 2nd Panzer just to provide some defense here, because the next move is to bring a Panzer division or 2 into this hex. Maybe even into this hex. Let's see what that would look like. Can the 7th Panzer reach that? They actually can. I bet they could actually reach once we moved into here, because now we're in previously held Soviet controlled territory. So our movement factors are going to be reduced, moving through this unknown part of the front. We have to come up adjacent to the Soviets, deny them freedom of maneuver. If we move the 7th Panzer here, then we definitely have to have a Panzer Division here as well to prevent any kind of We don't want the Soviets to be able to attack from any more than a frontage of 3 hexes. We could place a Panzer division here, again, to pin the Soviets even more. This would definitely prompt the Soviets to attack this Panzer division, which caused some damage to the Panzer division, but it would retreat into a safe area. Looking here, there's 3 tank brigades that will have to attack across the Vorskla River. So yeah, now they have to deal with that. So there's a little bit of protection from at least a 10-mile part of the attack surface where the Soviets can mass up. And we're going to prevent Soviets from moving into here by bringing in... Have to remember to... Oh, where did you go? Oh, you were down here. Make sure we get all our forces into good command and control after all these moves. So we're definitely going to bring over the 37th Panzer. And in the aftermath of this, we'll definitely do some administrative work and make sure every division has good command and control and supply to a headquarters. Well, look at this infantry division. Where would you want to go? Your corps headquarters is 39th Mountain Corps. Oh, another uncommitted. I don't see any reason to place 39th Mountain divisions here along this sector. What will they achieve, though? Well, they can definitely contribute to this sector of the front once all this shakes out, and we'll insert them into the line somewhere. No point bringing them in line here. Well, they could contribute to the attacks. Well, let's get them over the river. They will be pocket cleanup. But I'm already thinking we're going to do it. We're going to get this pocket formed. Maybe there'll be a 10 to 20 mile gap that some Soviets will get away, but this is definitely shaping up a little better than I had thought. And we'll bring the corps headquarters over the river as well. Everybody is in command and control. Excellent. Furthermore, we have some uncommitted regiments. Let's just get them in line. Once the Soviets pull back from the Volga, let's get them over the river and into line. This poor Romanian infantry division doesn't even want to move 10 miles up against Soviets. I guess they're a little spooked. So we'll just place 256 there, 246. Move up our headquarters. All right, excellent. Okay, we have to bring in a Panzer division here. Do we have? I know we had a motorized division. We still have those 4 infantry divisions to place within this. Okay, let's go motorized. You will be flank security. Ooh, 2 tons of fuel. Was that alone headquarters there? I guess so. All right. Let's bring in another one of the 25th infantry divisions. Infantry division from the 25th Infantry Corps. All right. Let's... You know what? Let's get a little thicker here. Perimeter. Yeah, these infantry divisions, in operations like this, it becomes a potpourri of formations all over the place, and getting every division in command and control can sometimes be a challenge. But let's bring this. You know what? They'll be closer to where we want to place them in the line in the next week. All right, we can see that. Let's get the headquarters over the river. See, it's a sizable infantry corps with 5 divisions it's controlling. All right, it's starting to get a little cleaner up here as we thin out the blob of forces that we had in the north. We still have probably 4, or at least 4 more Panzer divisions to get as far south as we can. All right, that's looking good. Oh my, we still have the 52nd Infantry Corps. Where can they go? You know what? Throw them into this breach. They will be in a better position in the next week to either seal the pocket off or further advance to the east. Let's bring them in. They're your headquarters, 52nd. Let's get you over the river as well. Oh, wow. Too bad they're just a little bit out of position because there's a lot of combat power in these infantry divisions that we're moving right now that are not attacking. But that's all right. They'll preserve their ammo and their supplies and their fuel as well by not attacking this turn. Let's just bring you in here a little bit. Mountain, we got you. All right, one more from 52nd. All right, too bad we can't move a little further and assist these lone panzer divisions. That's the nature of it. All right, so the question is, do we cross the Dnieper from south to north, and how much further south do we push this? How will the Soviets escape? Let's look. They can attack here, which they might, the best thing I hope that they attack the 5th Panzer Division. And high mobility with the tank corps, but they still have to break contact, move through, and extricate themselves, crossing the Volga River to break out and then go through our zone of control. So maybe some of these Panzer Corps might potentially escape. But then they have to cross the Volga and the Orel. The biggest threat is to the smaller, very smaller force we have to the south. If we push some Panzer divisions, they will have rivers to the east and west to benefit them on the defense for any potential breakout. Do we do that? What would that look like? Oh, we definitely have. We definitely could do it. There's no point in moving here, because the Soviets could just attack. We'd retreat over the river. We don't want Soviets to attack from the east and the west. Yeah. This is amazing. We can actually almost link up. Look at that. All right, I have to think about this. I want you just watching me think. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, and notice a few changes here. The thought is to definitely keep the Volga River as a defensive boundary to this encirclement, so that the Soviets will have to attack. a very thin German line if they try to break out in this southern sector of the front. Pretty strong here. I don't think they're going to move us, maybe have us retreat a little bit. Pretty strong on the outer perimeter. We have room to retreat in places where the Soviets might have some favorable combat resolutions. So I moved the 20th Panzer just to the north bank of the Dnieper. We have these mauled formations here that might consider attacking, but now these forces have to cross over the Dnieper to attack, which will eat up a lot of movement factors, and maybe that will reduce their ability to attack our divisions here that are stretched thin. I took another division from the 36th Panzer Corps, moved it over the river to now have a little bit of an anchor should the Soviets move south and try to attack over. Still have these two panzer divisions to move, as well as at least one more. We are running out of panzer divisions and mechanized divisions to maneuver in this really exciting offensive. All right, 16th Panzer, I think you're the last panzer division we have at our disposal to commit. Are there two here? Yes, there are definitely two there. Ooh, definitely thicken the front here. I think the 29th Motorized will be attacked with enough force to make them withdraw. Yeah, we're pretty thin here, pretty thin. Where would the Soviets most likely cause the most damage? Not from the east. Most likely the forces attacking. So we'll keep them over the river here, so that these strong forces here, as well as these three formations. Yeah, alright, that's where you're going. For better or worse. It gives us a 20-mile, very thinly defended corridor here. And I think that's the last. Yeah. We have no more. Nothing left to move as far as securing this part of the encirclement, except for these two panzer divisions. That's pretty important because there's a lot of Soviet forces here in comparison to what we have establishing the southern link up. Ooh boy, with a river in the way. Oh man. Yeah, we have to go all in. It's 1942 after all. We haven't really had much to write home about so far. This could be a good way to end the summer. We don't really worry about forces here, or do we? What do the Soviets have here? We did an aerial recon, didn't we? All right, that's what you're telling us. I am scraping the barrel right now. This is risky. If the Soviets are clever, they could definitely cause trouble here. Definitely. You know what? We're going to reassign this Panzer, this motorized division, to one of our corps here and pull back a little bit. Because I think we've achieved what we wanted, right? Because look, the forces here in the pocket cannot escape over the Dnieper. They're going to attack out here. So we achieved what we wanted. So let's pull back. And forces from the south are not going to threaten this motorized division because they have to attack across the Dnieper and they're too far away to really get a deliberate. It'd be a hasty attack over a major river. I'm not worried there. What I'm worried about is moving these two panzer divisions into this area and being in a precarious position. So we are going to move back and then get over. What is this river? Is this the Angulitz? Oh my goodness. It is the Angulitz. Angulitz extends for a while. Okay, so yeah, this is going to be an interesting turn, to say the least. Alright, we will be relatively fresh with 70% fuel for operations in the next week. And that's what it's going to look like. Danger area. Ooh, yep. These 30-mile stretch of front. Pressure is going to come from the pocket and maybe from forces that we really haven't identified in Dnipropetrovsk, but they're going to have to cross the Dnieper, and Soviets don't have the combat power to, I think, push back the Germans on this outer perimeter. And that's what it looks like. Oh boy. You know what? All that for really a decent-sized amount of Soviet forces, but this is going to take a nice chunk out of the Soviets' order of battle here, just south of Kharkov, and in Army Group South's area of operations, and southern part of Army Group Center's area of operations. So not too shabby. I don't mind what this is looking like. It's going to be very interesting to see how the Soviets react to this. I'm going to step away and do the other moves. This is where all the drama is, obviously. We have to make those pinning attacks and tie up as many Soviet formations here as we possibly can. And then to the north, I believe prior to this I did some attacks. Let's take a quick look. I'm really thinking about doing something with Army Group Center because we are in better position combat power wise along a number of places in this part of the front. And we have the 57th, which is a very strong Panzer Corps. We don't want to let them be idle for too long. But they're good operational reserves, and they are resting and refitting, so that's good. But we'll look more at that. This stretch, no real change. We did make attacks. Again, just trying to bull our way through these swamps and woods against strong Soviet, well, relatively to our forces, pretty strong. Yeah, we made those attacks. A number of them, just to disrupt them, fragment them, cause them to be in worse condition than our own forces. And, you know, a war of attrition, not really ideal, but like to take this linchpin, Pskov. And here the Soviets are just getting too comfortable, and I think we could make some small attacks in certain parts to fragment this front as well. Alright, we're going to leave it here, and I'm going to go and finish up the rest of the moves. And I'll be back for the execution of the Soviets' turn. Alright, we are back and ready for next turn. Triple checked everything. I'm sure I missed something, but let's click next turn. How will the Soviets react to the situation they find themselves in? And what threats will occur to that slender part of the encirclement where we only have a handful of German panzer divisions? Wow, seeing it this way without all the units cluttering it up, it's not that large of a pocket. Decent size, though. Very happy that we can pull this off, if we can pull it off. We will pull it off. Ooh, okay. Those forces that we saw by Petrovsk, where are they going? It looks like they're going north and east. Soviet forces react with that breach over the Ingulets to the north of them. Ah, looks like they're coming down to... I have to say, what? Did you just see what I saw? Soviets pushed through, looks like 2 tank formations. How they had the movement factors to do that? Very interesting. I 100% did not anticipate that. I guess that's good on them. Very aggressive. Are they forming a their own pocket? Well, I think we're a little stronger than they are, so not too worried. That's just going to be very highly annoying. Well, we do have a single hex route to get supply. Pulling back. Yep. We have a breach above them, so they're pulling back, it looks like. Maybe not. I'm still a little stunned that the Soviets moved into tank corps. That has to be the most aggressive move we've seen to date. And they seem to be very aggressive in a very quiet sector of Army Group North's front so far. Held out though. That is good. This is shaping up into something very interesting. Wow. An aggressive response from the Soviets. Yeah, look at that by Dnipropetrovsk. Suddenly, there are a lot of tank formations there. Well, we definitely expected a reaction from them. I don't think pushing those 2 tank divisions, tank corps, to the north there, they expended a lot of movement factors just to get to that point, so I don't know how much attack power they'll have left. How are they sneaking out? Look at that. How do they have enough to cross? Well, they're doing their best, because that is a considerable force that we encircled. They don't want to concede the destruction of all those forces without a fight. They made some attempts. Is it enough? I don't think so. Oh, that is exactly what I was afraid of. That we were going to get a mud turn in August. I'm just... okay. Phew. Did we dodge a bullet? I think we did, because everything we want to do offensively... Ah, they got supply there. Well, we'll take care of this. And we'll quickly make short work of these Soviets. They did not break our supply. Let's look at the supply situation for our tanks. Not bad. Not bad. 40%. Not too bad. We can work with this. We can definitely work with this to finish off the Soviets in this pocket. This definitely has to be... How did they get through? Did they? There's no way they crossed. These have to be forces that came south to north. There's no way. They had the movement factors. Did they? Maybe from here? To go move here, here, cross the Dnieper. Yeah, probably that's what it was. It was 2 tank corps. I think there was actually 4, at least 4 tank corps along this 30-mile stretch of the front here. So they're trying to get out of the pocket and stave off their destruction. And they quickly, look how quickly they assembled considerable forces around Petrovsk. And they're doing their darndest to relieve their forces. But it's not going to be enough. All they did is seal the fate of... They disrupted supply routes for sure, because now we have to trace supply through contested hex. So that was good on them. I guess that was their motivation to hinder the Germans' supply situation, to reduce their combat effectiveness. But we managed, I believe, to seal the deal here. Yeah, we have forces now, and strong enough. And the Soviets will now be attacking from mud. So they are not escaping. They definitely will not be escaping. No way, no how. Quite an interesting response from the Soviets. Look at that. I don't think they had tank corps here. They must have crossed over. Maybe they had... These 2 tank corps were up here, but I don't think so. They're doing their darndest, and we dodged a weather bullet. Can you imagine if mud was on... Mud occurred exactly where we are trying to finish off the Soviets? That's what happened at the end of 1941, if you remember correctly. It really delayed the destruction of over 50 Soviet formations. All right, we got to hurry up and get in a good position, because, yeah, it's going to be September. After this week, it's going to be September, and there's no... All bets are off when it comes to predicting good weather or not, starting now. All right, we'll end this video here. It's one of the more interesting weeks, or pair of weeks, since we started this offensive in the east. And 1942 had to end on a good note, and I believe it's going to, as we move into fall and winter. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. This is First Fire, non-assault move out.